thank you so much for coming to our show. We are so delighted to have you
Thank you for
here.
having me.
Could you just start by telling us a little bit how is your Eurovision experience going so far? Are you enjoying yourself?
I'm enjoying myself very much. The Eurovision experience is like no other. It's been really great being on this journey, and we're getting ready now, and I can't wait till the second semi-final.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so talking a little bit about your pre-selection, you took part in an internal pre-selection, right, to represent
Yeah, yeah,
Greece, at Eurovision, right? So, what
yes.
brought you to the decision to submit your proposal in the first instance?
So the reason I wanted to submit basically is because I have been a Eurovision fan, and I do love Eurovision greatly, and it's always been a dream of mine. But it became a goal when I heard our last year's representative song, like Amanda Tenfjord's "Die Together" was one of the songs that really inspired me uh, to really make Eurovision a goal. And I had this song which I'd been holding on to release in the right platform and the biggest platform possible because it was my favorite song, and I created it so that it was 3 minutes because it used to be 4 minutes, 4 minutes something, and
All right.
I submitted it for Eurovision.
Okay, that's brilliant.
Wow. So could you tell us a bit about the selection process, how it took place? We know that there was a demoscopic vote, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So how was it? How was all the process in
Yeah.
order
Let,
to
let me
get?
let me start from start to end. So, um, basically, there was a seven-person committee, and then there was a public committee, which is the first time this has happened in Greece. There was a 70-person committee as well. So, uh, the seven songs were shortlisted, and then a 70-person committee came and voted for the songs.
Mhm.
I did well in that area, and then I did well, and then three artists were shortlisted from there. They met with the seven-person jury, and the seven-person jury put their own vote in as well, and then the artist to go for Eurovision was selected.
Okay.
Okay, so how stressful was this selection process for you, right? I guess you hadn't, because you are very young, right? And you hadn't engaged probably in any kind of previous experience like that, right? So how stressful for that was that for you?
Well, I mean, of course, there was a lot of waiting and waiting and waiting. So I guess that was the most anxious part of it all. But I think I kept cool. I tried to make as many moves to make them like me as possible, as much as possible. And I kept it together. But the waiting, the patience that had to go through it was definitely. I learned a lot.
So I guess part of this selection process involved performing in front of the panel, or did you actually have to submit videos instead?
No, no, no. So it was just you just submitted the song, and then in front of the panel, you just spoke. They basically interviewed you. So it's like a job interview, basically, just to
Mhm.
get to know you, get to know why you're doing it, get to know you and how much experience you've had in the past, what your mindset is, etc. And they liked me. So
All right. So we're just going to try to investigate a little bit on your possible staging for Eurovision. Okay. So we know that during the selection process, at some point you had to meet, or the panel had to, or the ERT actually, the TV channel had to meet all candidates, right, to discuss what your plans were with regards to the staging, the video clip, and your
yeah.
plans for international promotion. Could we know a little bit about what you told the ERT representatives about your plans for the staging at that point?
I mean, the thing I told ERT is the same thing that we're putting into action now. It's that I myself as a creative always wanted to express an emotion as purely as possible throughout every stage of the process. So I had an emotion, I wrote a song about it, and then from this song now, I want to express it on stage, make it impactful, make it atmospheric, and make people feel something. and express that emotion as purely as possible and bring it out on stage. In the end, there's a big in the second verse there's a monologue. In the end, there's a big break of just giving it all away and screaming what you're feeling. In the start, it's really very vulnerable. I want to capture those emotions as much as possible and make people feel something on stage.
And well, you actually produce a video clip, right, which has quite a dark lightning on it, right? So I'm not sure if this is something that we can expect in your staging for Liverpool.
All we can expect is us being as pure as possible to the emotion and expressing it.
So you can't say much, right, at this point?
That's all I can say.
That's fine. So, well, let's talk about your musical background, okay? Because you're a very young artist. You're only 16 years old, is it?
Yes, I am 16 years old.
Wow. But you have been releasing music since 2020 or something like that.
Yeah,
So,
it's my first time.
what inspires you? What inspires your music, and how did you find your musical path at this point?
Well, I've always just been a lover of music and a lover of songwriting as well. So I wrote my own song. I mean, I wrote the song I submitted for Eurovision, and I produced it as well, and I also co-mixed it. So I love being in on the creative process as much as possible, and I love music. I love expressing myself. It's a place that, you know, it's in a way it's where all my emotions are released, and where I can be mostly myself. And I really find the idea of being able to help other people express things beautiful. And also music is just like, I can't imagine life without it. So I mean, contributing to music as a whole, as a person, and creating more, I mean, it's just a beautiful thing in my head, and that's all I want to do.
So could we say that your song, What They Say, is it based on a personal experience?
Yes, it is. I had a small experience where I, basically the first time I ever felt real overwhelmingness and anxiety, and I always kept that experience as something I wanted to write about, and I was really young, and then 6 months later, it was 2021. I was 14 at the time I wrote the song. I picked up the guitar and I was like, I want to write about this. I wrote the song in 2 days. I mean, a few hours, but over the span of a few days, because I wanted to describe it perfectly. I didn't want anything to come in my way. So I picked up the guitar for a few hours, and then the next day for another few hours, the song was written. I kept it. It was like in acoustic form, and it was my favorite song I'd ever written. And then 6-7 months later, then I finally found the production. It was the hardest song to produce because I knew it really, really meant something to me. So I started producing it with a perfectionist mindset, which is not usually what you're supposed to do. You should just let the creative spill come out of you. But in this case, I did, but I guess it was worth it.
Good.
That's brilliant. So talking a little bit about your musical background, we know that you started learning to play the piano at the age of 4, right?
Yeah. That's correct.
Okay. And then the guitar at the age of 11, right?
10. I started playing guitar at 10.
10. All right. So, well, just 6 years ago, right? So I'm curious about, whether this was a something that your parents kind of fostered on you, this interest on music, or was this something that you actually developed yourself?
I definitely have a musical family, but they've never forced me to do anything. They've always just like opened up options for me. So my mom asked me if I wanted to do piano lessons when I was 4 years old, and I said yes as a 4-year-old, and I ended up really, really liking it. They asked me if I wanted to do guitar. I mean, I came up with the idea for guitar. They were like, do you want to do guitar? I did guitar. And then I asked if I can do music production, and then I did music production for a year, and then I continued practicing by myself and learning, online. I mean, there's so many ways you can learn to produce music and do loads of things nowadays, just from like online videos or information that is online. And the biggest way I think to improve on anything and learn anything is just by doing it again and again and again and again and again, and figuring out your own way. I also started vocal lessons when I was 8 years old, and haven't stopped since. So Yeah.
So
That's- yeah, go ahead.
I'm assuming that you are coping your music career with your school or your academic career, is it? I mean,
I do
or not?
sorry.
Are you in the school right now or not?
I am in school, but I'm doing online school, so it's 1 to 2 hours per day. I made that decision back in September just to have more time free from my art, from my career, basically my musical side, because I wanted to have more time for it. It basically freed up about 30 hours per week, and that's like a huge difference. I mean, per year, if you can calculate that. And yeah, I made that decision because I believe in the fact that as much as you put in is as much you're going to get out. So I wanted to work as hard as possible towards the musical career because I'm sure that that's what I wanted to do, and then hopefully that comes back to me.
So how complex it is, for a person of your age to kind of combine, your studies with your professional career at the same time.
I mean, it's definitely hard sometimes, but you need to find a balance. I don't like that balance because I just want to go in on full on music. But I mean, you definitely have to. I don't want to leave school to the side, like at least until finishing high school for sure. I want to go through with it.
All right. So if I can return to your entry this year for Eurovision, it's called "What They Say," right? I mean, you mentioned a little bit before, the reason why you decided to compete with this specific song in particular, right? But could you develop a little bit on the message that you would like to convey with this song? You mentioned, mental health, right, and well-being.
Yeah. To an extent, it is mental health, but I mean, there's two messages to the song. One is what it symbolizes, and what it symbolizes is talking about your feelings. It's basically like find a way to express yourself, and what the song symbolizes is expression. It's like I wrote a song with it, right? So I took an emotion, I expressed it out on a paper, full honesty, and I let it out. So in a way, it's just a song that people can go to and they can let out all of the anxiety that they have inside them, which is something that a lot of people have nowadays for a range of subjects. And yeah, so it's a 2-in-1 because it's on a personal level and then it's on a symbolic level. It's one is express yourself, and the second one is come here to express yourself.
Good. So I think that this song is in a way related to some of your previous songs, right? Because you talked about your feelings about, I mean, you put your feelings on your songs, right?
Yeah, always,
So
always, and possible, yeah.
good. That's lovely. So what is the direction that you would like to take in your career as an artist? Do you have any particular music style? Would you like to discover any other styles?
I love old styles. Like I'm crazy about it. Like I love so many styles of music. I mean, I grew up listening to acoustic pop and folk and stuff like that, and like hip hop and rap. And my father raised me on blues, soul, funk, and jazz. So I love being very versatile. And one of the things I want to do is be a very versatile artist. But the thing that I want to do is stay true to myself and not stay true to myself as a genre, because I am not a genre. I don't think any artist is a genre. I think every artist is what they're feeling, because music is an embodiment of an emotion. It's like the sound of emotion. So I just want to take what I'm feeling and then spread it out into a song in whatever genre that comes through with. My genre is honesty, and
That is like the
purely
best genre you could ever have. Yeah.
hope so.
So you want to remain true to yourself, right? Yeah, you want
Yeah.
to express
But that
who
doesn't
you
mean
are,
genre.
right?
I could go make something that people would call mainstream and tell me that I'm not being true to myself. But if that's what I love, and if that's the way I'm expressing myself right now, even if it's called mainstream right now, that's me still staying true to myself, because I didn't go do that because someone told me to. I did it because that's what was in my heart, and I wanted to express myself that way. Whether that's a
Brilliant.
positive or a negative emotion or whatever.
That's so nice to hear. Well, you mentioned before that you are a Eurovision fan, right? And but you are very young at the same time. I don't know if
Yeah.
we can, if you consider yourself to be a Eurovision fan, but do you actually consider yourself a Eurovision fan? You know, do you have any kind of all-time favorites? You know, from Eurovision? What's your previous kind of relationship with the contest?
Yeah, I would have to. I mean, I am quite young, so I haven't. I call myself a young Eurovision fan. You know, some people come at me with facts that they were like 50 before I was born, and I get a little bit embarrassed. But but I mean, as much as I've watched, I've been a real fan of it. So I think the first Eurovision that I truly remember is when I was 8 years old. It was the year that Mons won with Euros for Sweden,
Yeah.
and that's the first song that I ever sung live to a crowd. And
Oh wow.
yeah, just watching that Eurovision was one of my favorite songs ever. So I guess Heroes is probably my all-time favorite, just because I have that emotional connection with it and that memory. But there's a lot. I mean, there's so many beautiful songs. I mean, so many amazing artists came out of Eurovision, like Celine Dion and ABBA, and even I can name old Greek participations as well that I really look up to. I mean, there are so many iconic performances in Eurovision. I couldn't pick one, but I'd go for Mons's Heroes just because I have that experience in common.
Mm-hmm.
And the other day I read, I read that you were born after the winning performance of Elena Paparizou.
Yeah. So in
That blew my
2005,
mind.
in 2005, Elena won, and then in 2006, Eurovision was in Greece, and later that year I was born. So I was born on the 23rd of October 2006, and
Wow.
Eurovision was in May 2006 in Greece.
Are you aware that you're the youngest artist this year?
I'm the youngest artist this year and the youngest to ever participate for Greece. So it's
That
amazing.
blew my mind.
It's crazy.
Does that add any pressure on you?
No, it just makes me more excited. I'm so much more happy. Like, I just want to inspire people. So I want to go and do the best as possible, go as far as possible in the Eurovision Song Contest, give it all on stage, give it all with my song, show people a lot more than they can hear online, and just do the best possible and try to inspire people as young as me to just follow what they love, you know?
Uh-huh.
Good. So, where would you like Eurovision to take you in your professional career? What are your aspirations following your participation in this year's contest?
I mean, in Eurovision, I mean, everybody's hoping for the win. I mean, everybody's trying to bring it home for their own country. They love their own country, and that's definitely what we want to do. I'm aiming as high as possible always, but bottom line, I'm just happy to be here and happy to be part of the contest. I mean, I feel so blessed to even be a part of Eurovision, no matter what happens. But in Eurovision, that would be the goal, just so I can perform at my best and hopefully get there. Knock on wood. But after, I mean, Eurovision is a huge platform for all artists. I mean, we saw what happened last year with Armenia's song from Rosalind, and
Wow, yeah.
and loads of participations. I mean, Eurovision is a great platform that people can grow from as artists and can be helped. I mean, me as an artist, I want to have my music reach as many people as possible, and Eurovision is a great platform to bring me to a level where I can get more momentum and keep going that way.
We are so looking forward to see you, developing your professional career as well. I mean, once you are part of the Eurovision bubble, you got us all, right? And then we are all following you, and you can count on us, right? You can count on the Euro fandom, absolutely. Victor, thank you so much for coming to our show today. It's been a pleasure. All right, all the best for your performance in Liverpool.
You too. Hope to see you in Liverpool.
Yeah, and we do hope to see you in the final. All right, we're keeping our fingers crossed for you. All right.
Thanks so much.
Cheers. Thank you, Victor.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.